Fiore rips it into left field. Good for an RBI. That also puts Mike in a tie for the all-time hit list at UM. Joe Gray, another fine outing, teams up here with Frank Dominguez. Strike him out, throw him out. Gray with 9 strikeouts. He also fielded his position very well. Had plenty of support from the Hurricane bats as they beat Maine. 13-1 is the final.
Well, it doesn't work. Mike Doodle is picked off by Joe Gray. Ron Frazier making a mental note to schedule the Bears a day at the beach next year. Miami did score some legitimate runs. Robles doubles down the line. Mike Tosar scores. 13-1 the final. Kings are now 14-2.
NBA baseball team has, playing this far south, is that some early season opponents can't even open their season until they come down here. Maine was playing the first game of the year tonight at Mark Light Stadium against the 13-2 Hurricanes, and it showed. First inning, Maine second baseman drops the throw down. George Robles scores on the double steal. Let's go to the fourth. Rob Word, who reached third on a misjudged fly ball, scores on a wild pitch to make it 4-1 Miami. At the time, Will Vespi crushed a 2-run homer in the fifth. Miami was way out in front, and they cruised to victory number 14, the final 13-1. Same team.
Turned in a record-setting performance for the UM baseball team. This home run in the first inning versus Maine made the senior outfielder Miami's all-time leader in hits. Fiore had 2 homers on the night as the Hurricanes defeated the Black Bears 10-1. In college basketball,
You may have us down every now and then, but we are never out of it. The Hurricanes have been riding a roll in college baseball the past few days, basting the Black Bears of Maine in a 2-game series, scoring 23 runs while allowing only 2. Today at the Light, it was Purdue's turn to try and halt the Canes. For those of you who never thought they had for the throat in college baseball, forget it. Ron Frazier and Brad Kelly. Hey, guys, these guys are looking for umpire stew. The Boilermakers jumped out to a 2-0 lead on the Canes. Come bottom third, a chance to cut it in half. John Vieira for the Fences, his first dinger of the season. Canes down 2-1. The two teams knock heads for a few innings, going to the 8th tied at 5. Purdue strikes for a couple of runs. 7-5, Boilermakers heading for the bottom. Miami ties it up in their half of the 8th. And with a 7-all knot tied in the bottom of the 9th, a little dramatic, Will Vespi has to be one of the Canes' best clutch hitters. Long gone history, his 5th dinger of the season. Miami comes out a winner.
To play great baseball, but they had to fight for a win over Purdue this afternoon at the Light. UM assistant Brad Kelly was up in arms, and he got ejected for his trouble. Purdue catcher Jim Hirschberger had a great day. 3 hits, 5 RBIs, including this 2-run homer that sent Canes starter Greg Knowles to the showers. UM had to come back from 5-1 and 7-5 deficits. John Vieira tripled all the way to the wall in the 8th. That scored Frank Dominguez, and Vieira later scored to tie the game at 7. Now, bottom of the 9th, Will Vespi, kiss it goodbye, deep to right. Later for this one, 8-7. The Canes win it. Their record now 16-2.
Just as hot as Ben Crenshaw's putter. The Canes took a 15-2 record into their game today against Purdue. This was the first game of the year for the Boilermakers, but they looked pretty sharp for the first time out. Thomas Strowski with a great catch out there in left field. That hurts on that AstroTurf. The Hurricanes pulled off a neat trick play today. Rob Word is the runner at third, and the hitter is Bob Hernandez, and Hernandez draws the walk. Now, normally you would trot down to first, but not Hernandez. He's not going to stop. He keeps running to second. The pitcher tries to get him in a rundown, but forgot about Word, who had taken off for home. Word scores to tie the game. Hernandez tagged out, but that didn't really matter. A little later, the Maniac tried a trick play of his own, the hidden ball trick, and that worked too. I told you the Canes were hot. Score was tied 7-7. Bottom of the 9th, Will Vespi drilled one over the fence in right. 5th home run of the year for Vespi, and it is a game winner. Canes take it 8-7. They have now won 16 out of 18.
Was a winner today, 8-7 over the Purdue Boilermakers. Will Vespi drove in the winning run for the Hurricanes with a solo home run in the bottom of the 9th inning. Miami's now 16-2 on the season. Also, it was Army losing to FIU.
Baseball players told me they were going to score lots of runs. So far, they've been doing just that. Against Navy, Mike Fiore, another home run. The Canes 17-2 on the year as they beat the Midshipmen.
Georgetown, UM gets 2 in the first inning. Frank Dominguez with the hit. Will Vespi runs through Brad Kelly's stop sign. Doesn't get a ticket, but does score the run. The Hoyas get 2 in the 4th inning to tie the score. Right through Steve Tucker's glove, it seemed. Joe Russo's base hit. 2 runners come across. It is 2-2. But Tucker and Oscar Munoz combined for 14 strikeouts. Canes win it 8-2. Their record 18-2 on the season.
Continue to roll. They knocked off Georgetown tonight.
As in college baseball, the winning streak continues. Up next, court staff John Dutzman was out at Mark Light Stadium signing autographs for his newly acquired horde of fans. Hopefully his wife didn't see that last one. The Miami Hurricanes in search of their 10th straight win, and you know things are going your way when the power hitter begins to steal bases. Mike Fiore does the honors here in the third. With 2 runners on, that sets the table for Frank Dominguez, the double over the head of the center fielder. That's about 400 feet, boys and girls. Fiore and Will Vespi score. Dominguez would come home as well in the frame as the Salukis head south. The Canes score 3 in the third, are never headed. On the board, UM does indeed win its 10th.
An 8-game winning streak into an afternoon game with Southern Illinois. Canes running the bases aggressively. They try one of their favorite plays, the double steal, but the Salukis are waiting on it. They nail Rob Ward at the plate. In the 6th, Will Vespi, see ya, deep to right for the homer, puts Miami up 6-2. They hang on for a 6-5 win over Southern Illinois. Elsewhere,
that has one of the best nicknames in the country, but not one of the best offenses. The Southern Illinois Salukis, led by Coach Itchy Jones, I'm not making this up, are the Hurricanes' latest victims. Miami knocked off Itchy and his Salukis today 6-5. And since by now you're dying to know what a Saluki is, it's a type of dog. The origin of Itchy, however, remains a mystery.
Can the winning streak continue? Canes break up the Hurricanes. Ron Frazier and the baseball bunch on a tear, inviting all those northern teams to head south, enjoy the sunshine while the snow falls back home, and they pound the visitors into submission on a daily basis. Today's victim, the Blue Jays of Crichton. Now, I firmly believe there are those who come out to the baseball game for no other reason than to see the managers argue. Now, don't you believe that's true? I mean, come on, don't you? Always a wise guy, you know? Going a couple better than Crichton this afternoon, the Canes. Bottom third, Will Vespi continues to swing the red-hot bat. 3 runs crossed in the third as Miami pads their early 2-1 lead. Vespi with a couple RBIs to make it 4-1. How about one more run in the frame to keep the customers satisfied? Frank Dominguez sends Mike Fiore in. Miami up by 4 runs after 3. The rest, as they say, was gravy. Miami's now won 10 in a row by beating Crichton. Elsewhere, FI
baseball team is on some kind of winning streak. Today beating Creighton, tonight's their 10th victory in a row. The Hurricanes and their fans have been looking mighty good. Watch Joe Gray strike out Creighton's Pat Mooney just before catcher. Frank Dominguez throws a perfect strike himself to second, now, and Chris Gadsden stealing for the double play. Miami already led 2-1 when the Hurricanes tack on 4 more runs from the third. 2 scoring when Bill Vespi bounces a single to right field, allowing John Vieira and George Robles to cross home plate. Miami goes on to win 11-2.
Jimmy Johnson, close to being ranked #1 in the nation. The Hurricane baseball team played host to Creighton. Creighton's pitcher looked pretty good for a while. He held UM in check, and while he was doing that, his teammates came through and actually took a 3-0 lead on the Canes. Dan Johnson is the pitcher for Creighton. He's a big guy early on. He was in control, but then with the bases loaded, John Vieira with a grand slam. Garner UM takes the lead 4-3. They're the grand slammer for Vieira. UM gets more offense. Rob Ward comes up here, right back up the middle, a base hit. Make it 11 in a row. Canes win it by the final score of 9-4. Now, I said they were very close to being the #1 team in the nation.
Peter. Coming up in sports, Lipton Tennis turned sour for a couple of first-round losers. And would you risk your life for a new car? This person did. Doug Vaughn will explain next when News Center 7 continues with sports.
Some happy feet. The baseball Hurricanes have won 10 in a row and ranked 2nd in the nation. That'll make you dance. Up against Creighton tonight, bottom of the 4th, UM down by 3 until John Vieira smacks a grand slam home run. That blast gave the Canes a 4-3 lead, and they never looked back from there. Ron Frazier's team off to its 2nd-best start in the history of the program. In the 8th, Jose Trujillo screams a hot shot down the line at 3rd. Doug DeCock and Mike Tozar score. 9-4 is the final, and that's 11 in a row for the Canes.
For the University of Miami baseball team. First, the Canes have moved up to #2 in the new collegiate baseball poll, but have lost pitcher and outfielder Will Vespi for at least a week. Vespi hurt his ankle getting out of a car last night. If that isn't bad enough, the Hurricanes were losing to Creighton tonight 3-0, but in the 4th, John Vieira stepped in, bases loaded. You know the outcome, grand slam homer. Hurricanes go on to win it from there, the final 9-4. Miami has now won 11 in a row.
Starts ever began the night with a 22-2 record. They are undefeated for the month of March. Ron Frazier and the Canes fell behind St. Francis 2-zip in first inning, but not to worry, the Canes came right back. Frank Dominguez, there's a good Irishman, base hit into left. That'll chase Jose Trujillo, another Irishman, around from second and make it a 2-1 game. Hurricanes put together a 4-run rally in the 2nd inning. Henry Hernandez with a poke to the alley in right center. Oh, Henry with a double. John Vieira and Rob Ward score. Now the Canes are out in front. Mike Fiore continues his hot hitting. Fiore with a drive to left center. That scores another. Miami wins 10-5 over the Terriers. That makes it 12 wins in a row for the Hurricanes.
against the Black Bears of Maine. Canes have been basking in the victory sunshine quite a lot already, but the Black Bears of Maine had other ideas for the Canes today. First of two, top of the ninth, Miami had a 3-4 lead, 4-3 lead rather, bottom of the eighth. 2 out, Ray Noriega misplays what could have been the final out, so Maine then takes a 4-3 lead. Miami, however, forces a tie. They're half of the ninth. Extra innings we go. Frank Dominguez, bottom 10. See ya. History over the left field wall. Second dinger of the season. This one goes down as the game-winning ribby against Maine in the 10th. And in the nightcap, Miami was a winner as well, so they sweep
hoping to avoid a losing streak and wind up with a 2-game winning streak, sweeping Maine in a doubleheader, 3-2, the final in the nightcap. Now, in the afternoon game that started this one off, it looked like Miami might drop its second game in 3 days to Maine when they couldn't get the hits to drop. Great catch there by Mark Sweeney, robbing Jose Trujillo. But the Black Bears may have also started the latest trend in fielding today. Routine fly ball, but watch the breakdown of communication. Ow! That one almost broke a couple of ribs. This play turned into a Donnybrook for the Hurricanes as they pick up a run. Mike Fiore is safe. Go back to second. Frank Dominguez is safe. Everybody's happy, and everybody's enjoying themselves out at Mark Light Stadium. This one went into extra innings and ended up with heroics. Bottom of the 10th, 2 out. Game tied 5 apiece. Frank Dominguez, hello, Frank Dominguez. He unloads that one, and the Canes go on to win it 6-5. Now, when the Mets
swept their doubleheader today against Maine, winning the first game 6-5 in 10 innings. Then in the nightcap, with the game tied at 2-all in the 6th, Miami with runners at second and third. Jose Trujillo belts one to right center field. Watch the running catch by Gary LaPierre. It scores a sacrifice as a run comes in and gives the Hurricanes a 3-2 win. Well, these baseball players
of Rutgers with the drive to left center. That'll score a run. UM fell behind 2-0 early, and the Maniac was moved to tears. But the Canes battle back. Jose Trujillo with a long one to left, and that is going to go a home run for Jose Trujillo. And now the Maniac is in much better spirits. A home run will tend to do that for you. Canes got a 2-run gift on this play. Bobby Hernandez hit what looked like a double play, but the throw to first is wild. Hernandez is decked by the first baseman, but 2 men score on the overthrow, and that helped Miami beat Rutgers tonight. 4-2 is the final.
The year over the scoreboard. Then after a Rob Ward RBI single ties it, the Scarlet Knight second baseman throws a double play ball away. Frank Dominguez and Ward both score, thank you very much. A 4-run 4th inning carries Miami to a 4-2 victory. They are now 26-3 on the year.
Frazier Show will be seen.
The Ron Frazier Show with University of Miami head baseball coach Ron Frazier and Channel 10's Jerry Azar.